Hey there, welcome back to the Luxury State of Mind podcast. I'm your host, Amina Shodi. And on this podcast, my goal is to encourage you to live a life of luxury. And how do you live a life of luxury? How did you define a luxury? We define luxury on this podcast as an opportunity to live in your version of uniqueness, of a tailor made life. And that ultimately aligns a life with your values, who you believe you're called to be, your identity, how you're living your days, and then how you're empowered to make choices that align with who you are as a person. So you're able to craft a life that is unique to you, tailor made to you, and gives you the permission to live that extraordinary life that you've always wanted. So, welcome back to the Luxury of Mind podcast. We are currently live. And as you can see here, I have my tea and a new background. I'm currently not in my home. I'm actually in my family home right now. So we're changing up a couple of things. And I'm not going to lie to you. This is actually the second time that I've had to do this live. I recorded an entire podcast already and then the sound was gone. And I think I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I think that aligns with the topic that we're going to be discussing today. And really, what we're going to be sharing and discussing about is giving yourself that permission. So, permission to do whatever it is that you want to do. And really, for me, we're going to be speaking about permission to pivot. So, this is going to be a new thing that I want to do with the podcast in the spirit of pivoting. I think my goal would be, since I go live every week, right? If you didn't know, you can actually catch the live recordings of the podcast on YouTube every single week. If I'm live, I would actually love for you to be a part of the conversation. So, being able to meet me here every week, being a part of the conversations and sharing comments, interacting with each other, and really making this a lovely community for all of us here who are trying to live our version of luxury. So I know a lot of you luxury-minded women are looking for that community and that ability to just meet other women who are interested in the same things you are interested in. So you can find that here on Luxury State of Mind. So something that I want for us to feel is like when we do come on these conversations or these lives, I want it to feel very cozy. Currently, I'm sitting at the couch and I'm low key. I'm feeling this new, what would I say, like setup. I have my tea in hand, an apple crumble coffee cake tea. I know, right? I know. I'm like, okay, I'm chilling. I'm enjoying the ability to just be sitting down here and speaking with you today. So, as I said before, just to kind of go back to what we're going to be discussing, a format that I want to pivot to, is talking about what we're giving ourselves permission to. So, whatever you fill in the blank that is for you, something that you may have noticed, something that may have sparked your interest and that you want more of in your life. And again, this aligns with that desire to live that luxury type of lifestyle, that value based, unique lifestyle that's tailor made for you. And for this week, for me, something that I want to share with you, and then also for you to think about as well, is I want to give myself the permission to pivot. And there's been different things that have happened within the last week or even 2 weeks. I mean, for one, I just shared with you that I just shared that I had to do the podcast, or I had to, this is the second time I'm recording the podcast. I had to pivot. And I'm not currently alone at home. I'm with family. So there's been a lot of different, I would say, good distractions. So the normal way of how I would show up has changed a bit. And then also it was Thanksgiving last week as well. So that also added into it. So there's small, very small changes like that that have caused me to pivot. But what about, I'm learning, for example, a friend that I love so dearly is leaving the same city that we live in. That changes now the dynamics of my friendships. And it's almost like, "Oh my gosh, like, I didn't expect this," or even for me, changing teams on my in my 9 to 5. So I do work as well as create content for Luxury State of Mind, and I've been moved to a new team. That's been a change or some kind of pivot that I've had to welcome in some capacity. Or if we're just looking at, in general, the world, just from my perspective, there's a lot of things changing, and I'm sure that you can feel it too. So, as I was just thinking about this week and just reflecting on what has happened, I am like, I want to give myself the permission to change, the permission to pivot during circumstances, to not have to force the same things, the same things that I've done before, especially if it's not working. Like the formatting of the podcast, I'm gonna have to change it because for me, it was not working. It was cool for a little bit, and then it's like, okay, I got to change things up. So being okay to not have to force what is no longer happening again, but be able to create room for what could be, and to also do that without fearing the future, fearing what could happen in the future. That was actually something that I was thinking about as I was walking this morning. I had said this on the previous live that I had looked into, the sky and I noticed the birds. And I actually notice birds quite a bit, especially when I see them flying. And I know there's a scripture in Matthew, I believe it's Matthew 6, where, Jesus is talking about the kingdom and he refers to the birds that see basically how well they're taken care of. Like they don't even store food anywhere, but their heavenly father takes care of them. How much more for us? And I love when I see birds in their freedom. I remember there was a time in my life that I felt so caged in and so locked in with what life was, the different things and struggles of life. And I just wanted to break free, and I just remember those birds, and a lot of those things and how I was actually able to break free in that time was to pivot, was to change course, was to do something different or allow something different. So it's like, how do you have the courage to pivot and also not fear the future? 'Cause like I said, I was praying about it this morning and I was like, there's a lot of different variables that are occurring, I'm sure in your life as well, that are happening. Like I shared before, the world is changing, right? Careers that we thought would stand, that were like, if you get into this career, into this field, you will be fine. But we're seeing now that certain jobs that we used to think were stable are changing. Certain industries that used to be on top are now not the same. There's new things that are coming and shaking up the systems of the world. So things can feel a bit shaky there. I mean, next year, I don't know what it's going to look like, right? We don't know what it's going to look like. But the one thing that I can say, and something that I've been thinking about lately to help, not like to have that courage that, okay, it's okay to change course. It's okay to pivot into something new. And I don't have to necessarily live in fear of that, is to have the expectation of what could be. I will say for me, one of the joys of doing Luxury State of Mind is that question alone of what could be. Like, if I have an idea and it's just like, "Oh my goodness, like, this could happen, this could be something," and to have the energy to put it all together or even just dream, right? Like, the permission to dream of what could be. Sometimes I believe in my case, and maybe for you as well, it can help reduce that fear of the future because you think of, what if it does work? Or what if this does happen? The possibilities are endless because we don't know tomorrow. We don't know what the next day will bring. And of course, all we can do is focus on what we have in front of us today. And then maybe in the next hour or so, we can't even really predict that either. But we can just focus on the here and now and make plans for the future, be able to pivot, to change, to make a plan to change, and then we have to just welcome that change with open arms, which I know that don't sound sometimes all that exciting, but the opportunity of what could be, and especially, if you are in relationship with Jesus, I think that it's just a bit of peace knowing that, okay, whatever it comes, like I'll be secure based off of who you are. So having that courage to just pivot, I think that's something that I'm giving myself permission to do. Something that I've been saying lately on this podcast and just like telling people is that Luxury State of Mind is going to be a global brand. Like I don't just see it in one space. I see it going in different spaces. And it's like, how do you make that even happen? Like, why would you even want to make that happen? But it's like the thrill of what could be, I believe, pushes and encourages me. And I believe that that could also be true for you, that what opportunities could come from pivoting, what opportunities could come from the changes. Funny enough, being on my new team, for example, has actually been such an amazing change. It's been the change that I needed for so long that I didn't know that I needed. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to pivot in that way. So if that could be true in that situation, it's like, what else could be true? So I want to ask you and I want to encourage you, what are you giving yourself permission to receive this week, for the remaining weeks of the year up into the new year? What are you allowing yourself? What permission are you giving yourself in this week? And I want to encourage you that if you are in a space where change is on the horizon, maybe you've been feeling in your, I'm gonna say your soul, maybe you've been feeling in your soul like something has got to give, okay? Something has got to change. Whether that's your career, maybe you're so tired of what has been and you want a change there, or there's a passion that you have to do something, even to be more seen, to be more visible. Maybe you're supposed to be doing stuff like this, creating some kind of podcast content or speaker or whatever it is. Or maybe you want to be a ballerina at the age of 35. I've seen it before because I did ballet, so I know it can happen. Okay. Maybe that's your way of pivoting into something new, getting into new spaces, meeting new people, doing something different. I just want to give you that encouragement that you have the permission to do that. And if it aligns with your values, with what you want to do, then you are forming and growing your version of luxury. So, again, just to encourage you and ask you the question, what are you giving yourself permission to pivot to, pivot from, or just pivot in general? So that is what we are discussing this week. That is what I want to leave with you. And I would love to have that for you to share that in the comments of this video, of this podcast. That what is something that you are pivoting towards? The Luxury State of Mind community would love to hear from you. So, couple of announcements, super exciting announcements. I just said that Luxury State of Mind is going to be global. I got something. That's gonna be the second announcement, okay? But the first announcement is, if you were not aware, Luxury State of Mind has been doing this series called Conversations Over Dinner, where basically women who are, again, purpose driven, want more alignment, want more out of life, that extraordinary life. We're gathering together, we're eating good food, having a good yap session, and talking about things that truly fill the soul. For me personally, so that makes me so happy is so simple. If I have like a latte or like something just nice and I'm sitting in the car and I have a good podcast on and I'm listening, for me, these are the simple joys of life. And I want to bring that same feeling to the Luxury State of Mind community through Conversations Over Dinner. So we just had one in Dallas a couple weeks ago, but now we're going to have one in Tampa, Florida on December 10th. We're going to be having it at Ava Tampa, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be limited space. So, because we want to have that good old conversation, LOL, not good old conversations, but we want to have good conversations, we're going to keep the table pretty small. So, it's only going to be available for a certain amount of people. And if you are in the Tampa area and you listen to Luxury in Mind, I invite you to be a part of this event. So I'm going to have the link in the description that you can join and be a part of. And then, like I said, global, Luxury in Mind, we doing it. And one of the opportunities that have been created to embark on this mission of being global is we're having conversations over dinner in Lagos, Nigeria. So it's actually not even going to be dinner, it's going to be brunch, but it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be at the flower shop. I had the opportunity to go there about a couple months ago, and was able to just be in the space, loved it. And now we're going to be hosting a brunch in Lagos. So if you are in Lagos during the December period, we're going to have that event on December 19th. It will start at 12:30. You're more than welcome to come at 12 to get situated, seated, and all those things. And this one again, like the previous event, is going to have limited spacing. There's only going to be 10 people that will be able to attend. So if that is something that you're interested in, I would love for you to show up, show out, and connect with other luxury minded women. So I'll have that in the description as well in this podcast. And then last thing, okay? If you're like, I need more of this conversation on a more consistent basis, I just want to engage with people because I know like in 2026, things have got to change. My environments have to just improve because I'm improving and I want to be around people and around women who are also growing, evolving. And I just crave that experience with other women as well as I'm loving the Love State of Mind content. Well, I want to share with you an opportunity to be a part of the Love for State of Mind paid community. So it's going to be something different than what we're doing here, on YouTube and on the podcast. It's going to be definitely more intimate. We're going to have more conversations as well as content that's really tailored to what it is that you enjoy and how you want to grow. Because I've always been wanting to find a space where I could pour into people more specifically. There's a lot more that I would like to say, or more opportunities I would like to also share with people. But I've always been trying to figure out, okay, do I do it in this space? Is it on social media? Is it this? But I really want to put like people who vibe with Luxury State of Mind in one space so we can really go all in. So if that is of interest to you, I'm going to have the link in the description of this episode as well. And you can sign up to be a part of the Luxury State of Mind paid community. So, again, if that's something that you're interested in, you'll find that in the description of this episode. All right. Thank you so much for listening, for being here with me, for being a part of this episode. And I'm excited to see what things you're going to give yourself permission to do. I'm going to sip this apple crumble coffee cake tea. I might start doing this on the podcast, like having my little drinks, whatever, because I love teas, I love coffees and all that stuff. So you never know. Maybe this could be a thing. Okay. So we can gather with our tea. All right. I'm going to see you on the next episode. Speak to you soon and bye.